Hey, I'm Mike McCready from Pearl Jam.
Hey kids, this is Mark Arm from Mudhoney.
I'm Kevin Martin from Candlebox.
Hi, I'm Dave Cruzen.
I'm Tim Montana.
Hey, I'm James Joseph from James and the Cold Gun.
I am Matt Vaughn from Easy Street Records.
This is Richard Stuberud. And this is the State of Love and Trust.
The State of Love and Trust.
The State of Love and Trust.
Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen. Feed the algorithm.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the State of Love and Trust. It's a Pearl Jam podcast, and I'm one of your two hosts, Jason Kerepesi. Paul is at work or sleeping or something. This is a special episode. Obviously, I am back from Ohana, where Eddie and a ton of amazing bands and musicians performed. I can't even think about all the ones that blew my mind. It is Monday morning after Ohana that I'm recording this. The episode that you're about to listen to or watch will have been from Friday afternoon at the Storytellers Stage, where we had Paul Kobriger, Geoff Whitman, and Chad Nelsen as our guests. We were talking about how their individual forms of art and passion help them to transmit good vibes outward and do good in the world. So I don't want to take too much of your time, but I do want to say, as far as an Ohana recap, in totality, it was awesome. It was a beautiful weekend. The weather was cooperative. It was not too hot, but then it wasn't too cold at night. They had some great installations. I found a new beverage that I love, Olay, which is funny considering the song by the same title, not so much a favorite of mine. But the drinks were fantastic. My son loved the slice booth. He was drinking up that slice like it's nobody's business. And just a great time overall. Saw so many people who recognized me and Paul and stopped and said hi and talked music and talked about the weekend. And we're thanking us for the Storyteller Stage that you're about to watch or listen to. And it was just so good. Fulfills the soul. It really fills you back up. And by the way, shout out to Chris Siglin for the Bella Canvas material on the t-shirts, because that is the right choice, my friend. Oh, it's so comfy. And I love the green with the Eddie Vedder palm trees. There we go. The little palm trees. It's such a great design. Ian Williams, shout out to you, my friend. And God, Wet Leg, the Chats, Cage the Elephant, Leon Bridges, Tedeschi Trucks Band, good Lord, Tedeschi Trucks Band, Hozier, Jesus Christ, Kings of Leon, High Viz, who am I forgetting? Stereophonics, Kim Deal, Garbage, Lucas Nelson. Oh man, I had a video about Lucas Nelson already, but I'm forgetting people. But there's I walked in on Sunday and or maybe it was Saturday. Mdu Hokhtar. I'm going to screw that up. I'm so sorry, but they were crushing it as I walked in. Oh, so many great performances. And just like I said, it really kind of filled the soul back up, filled the cup. And the Storyteller Stage was no exception. Paul even got a question into the good Congressman Mike Levin, his congressman actually, out of North County, San Diego, about, I think it was about a nuclear power plant that was going to be that was decommissioned, and were they going to redo it? And I guess there's a whole nuclear 2.0 thing that's going to be happening, but they got to figure out what to do with the old gross toxic stuff first. Environmentally friendly, of course. So Mike has some great things to say. It's great to hear a politician have well thought out, intelligent responses to questions, but we do what we can. Anyways, enough of me rambling about what a great weekend it was. You can see how tired I am by the bags under my eyes. Don't zoom in. But I am just sitting here in awe, basking in the greatness that was that whole weekend. Green Day. I forgot to mention Green Day. Good God, Green Day. I hadn't seen him in 21 years, and my son loved it. They put out all of his favorite songs, so he's excited. Anyways, I got my coffee here. I'm about to get back in the edit booth as soon as I'm done recording this. But in the meantime, enjoy the Storytellers Stage. I apologize for the audio quality. I did my best to kind of fix it in post. Technical snafus I'm not going to get into. But anyways, Paul Kobriger, artist, skate shop owner, Geoff Whitman, Pearl Jam tour photographer, wine executive, of course, as some of you may know, and the CEO of Surfrider Foundation, Chad Nelsen. It's all coming up right now from the Storyteller Stage on Friday on September 26th, just a few days ago.
It's the State of Love and Trust podcast, which I think was evolved during the pandemic and is really focused on Pearl Jam and their influence around the world, to other music, to bands, to activists, to surfers, to communities locally and nationally. So I'd like to welcome Jason Kerepesi and Paul Ghiglieri to the stage to discuss every aspect of Pearl Jam's back catalogue and current work. And of course, we're just meters away from Eddie Vedder and the history of Pearl Jam. So hopefully that will have an influence on what we're doing here today. They're going to be recording live. So Paul and Jason, please come up to the stage now. Give them a big round of applause. Thank you. Check.
Line in, line. Oh, there we go.
How's it going, everybody?
You have to plug the microphone in, apparently.
You have to plug it in.
I have to plug it in. You are wireless. You're wireless. Thank you for coming. This is we've done a couple of these live podcasts before. Austin, Texas in 2023. Hawthorne, just the road, last year, right? And then we did, what else did we do? Is that it?
Ohana Fest 2025.
Hey, look at that. I set him up perfectly. So today we are here. We're so thankful that we're here. I got to thank, Jesus Christ, everybody who got us in here. Smitty, Ed, how about Charlie Adler over there with the Adler's Movie Gallery? God bless him.
Amazing art out there. When you're done, check that installation out. Gorgeous work.
Mike Long, Colin Boyd, Emily Benson, and obviously everybody who's here, everybody who listens to the show or watches the show, you guys are why we're actually on the stage right now. So we thank you for that. Give yourselves a round of applause, please. Come on.
Well earned.
Oh man, it's like a birdie in the Masters. Very polite. We'd love to see it. Okay, we've got three amazing guests today. We're talking about activism. We're talking about how art can influence that, whatever you choose to do. Three amazing guests. So let's get to it. Our first guest today is he's an artist who was an artist, then wasn't an artist, did a lot of skating in between. Originally from Green Bay, now in Escondido. It's Paul Kobriger right here.
What up, Paul?
He's got his Liquid Death in hand. He's very on brand. Thank you, Paul.
6'7".
That's Paul's shop. 6 to the 7s. Couple locations in San Diego County. Does your mic work? Check. Oh my God, fantastic. It works. Thank God. We also have, if you are a Pearl Jam, any Pearl Jam fans here? I don't know why you would be. Well, there's some. Okay, there's some. You may know our next guest here. He's a photographer. He's in the wine business. He hails from Napa Valley. You've probably seen him in the pit and sneaking around the drum risers. It's Geoff Whitman.
Come on up, Jeff.
Evidently, he can't leave home without his is it Leica? How we got there? It's fake. Does not work. It's just a prop, a security blanket. I hope we have another mic for our next guest. This gentleman hails from Laguna Beach. Do you have a mic? We'll share. CEO of Surfrider, Chad Nelsen, the good doctor, Chad Nelsen. Here he is.
All right.
I'm very excited. Jesse, if we can find that fifth mic, that fourth wireless mic, that'd be super. But otherwise, you guys can hang out. Oh, there it is. There's on John's thing. Look at that. Amazing stuff. Okay. So, Paul, we're going to set it up almost like a play, 3 acts. And I know there's a lot of you who, like I said, are Pearl Jam fans, so we have decided to kind of begin each segment with a lyric that we think kind of corresponds to the big question, the big tentpole of that moment. Paul doing his with the first act.
Okay, there's no soliloquy to open this. Just you're not here to listen to us. You're here to listen to these fine gentlemen here. So we're going to jump right in. All right, guys, I'm going to share a lyric with you. And what I'd like you to do is just talk a little bit about how that lyric resonates with your work and your mission and your message. Here's the lyric. All that's sacred comes from youth. Dedication, naive and true. With no power, nothing to do. I still remember, why don't you? But not for you. So when you hear that, how does that speak to what you do?
Jerry Davies, interesting. All right, not for you. So, how do I frame this up? Okay, so I'm a hyper realist artist, which means I draw. I'm a copycat, basically. I'm a glorified copycat. That's sort of frowned upon in some parts of the art world, and that's honestly the big reason that I stepped away from art. I did art in high school, but I never drew anything again until about 9 years ago. I kind of started drawing again because in high school I was really good at copying and not good at much else. I've never painted or done anything except look at something and reproduce it. And I don't know, did you research this or how did you? So I have I had a mentor when I was young, who was an artist, and he introduced me to skateboarding and introduced me to punk rock and art. And I looked up to him. He was our babysitter when I was 11, and then we became friends. He was a couple years older. But anyway, one time he said something to me about, you're not a real artist because all you do is copy. Well, when you're 17 years old, I guess you believe it if somebody tells you. And so, yeah, that was the end. I didn't draw. I stopped drawing basically and pursued other things. And then, you hear that a lot from people. Like I still hear it all the time. Hyperrealism, that's not art, that you're a copycat or whatever. So, but I guess this is not for you. The message is, it doesn't matter what other people say or how other people think or what other people's definition of what art is. To me, art is something that inspires somebody. So if you're doing something and you do it well and somebody sees that and they're inspired by your work, you're an artist. And some people appreciate that and other people don't. But to the people that don't, this isn't for you. This is for the people that do appreciate it. So
Yeah.
Jeffrey, what do you think?
What do I think?
That's what I asked.
I thought you were going to give me a different lyric.
Oh no, everyone gets the same lyric.
Well, I'm happy to read a lyric again. Just to know, gentlemen, your beautiful baritone is competing with that bass guitar. So make sure we bring that mic up.
Can you do something about that?
I know well.
I think you know a guy.
All right. Here's the lyric again. All that's sacred comes from youth. Dedication, naive and true. With no power, nothing to do. I still remember. Why don't you?
Yeah. So, I mean, what it means to me in relation to what I do is, as a little kid of divorced parents, as an only kid, I'm son of an artist. My mom's a visual artist, serigraph and painting. Part of the deal when we would be, between custody battle court appearances is I would get to go to wherever she had a show. So I was exposed to art from a very early age. I mean, she's MFA and she knows too much about it still to this day. She tells me what's wrong with my photographs. But we would go, to Chicago or to DC, or we were in New York all the time. And we would go to museums during the day with the understanding that I get to go to a baseball game at night. So from a very early age, I kind of found myself wandering into, especially the modern art areas or photography exhibits. I love black and white photography. It's still this vein that runs through, I have a lot of color stuff from this tour because it's so vibrant with Rob's graphics. But for me, it just was like, I'm an 8-year-old kid standing in the MoMA looking at photographs, Robert Frank, photographs. And like, it's an odd hobby for an 8-year-old, 9-year-old kid to pick up. but something about the moment, and as a photographer, you're stealing that moment and preserving it forever, which was my great honor to do in this case. But it just like, while my friends are playing kickball, I'm like looking through art books, and so fuck them, this is not for them.
Do we swear?
This is, I was told I didn't swear.
Okay.
But it's like, it was an unusual thing, and then you get to be older, and it's kind of, you're going through junior high and all the fun stuff that comes along. It's like, you want to be a photographer. And so, you kind of put that down, I guess, in front of certain people. And then that's it.
How about a young surf kid if you want to do the beach?
Yeah, I was going to get political on this one. Fire away.
By the way, I almost couldn't do the show, but thankfully I had my Tylenol, so we're all set. Uh-oh. Is that a thing?
Right now, we live in a time right now that it's really easy to be jaded about politics. That we had the President of the United States denying climate change and for the world order of the UN earlier this week during U.S. Euro Climate Week. So it's easy to be cynical. It's easy to be jaded. It's easy to believe that the system doesn't work. It works for some, apparently. Yeah, but not for most of us. So I think climate change is ultimately going to impact the next generation, right? We're going to feel the impacts. We already are, but it's going to be really bad for the kids that are growing up today. And so I don't think we have the luxury to be jaded. We need to go back and channel that optimism that we had as kids that change is possible.
Don't react, respond.
That's right. And, channel that youthful optimism, that energy. And it's actually really encouraging right now at the Surfrider Foundation where I work. Youth activism is the fastest growing part of our network. And these kids are making a difference. So I think about what I thought was possible when I was a 20-something. We fought the good fight. We've made some good progress in some issues. There's places, we had a panel yesterday about saving an incredible surf spot down the road. So activism works. And so when I think about that lyric, I think about channeling that youthful optimism. And I also hear, by the way, it's okay, the kids will save us. And I think that's a cop-out. And so instead of waiting for them, channel them and do it for them.
Well said. As a father of two myself, beautifully said.
So I guess the big question is then, we all have passion for our craft. And I guess, when is it then you find your passion, you find your craft, whether it's surfing or photography or art or skate, when you say, you know what, I want to use this, or I want to allow this to allow me to affect positive change? When did you have the aha moment or aha experience, like, I got to do better? It isn't about number one, it's about everybody. Anybody jump in?
I'll jump in, I guess. So I grew up just up the road here on Laguna Beach. I was a beach kid, surfer, fisherman, lifeguard, and idyllic childhood in many respects. One of the things that was interesting when I was like a teenager in the 80s, I tried to go fishing and spearfishing off the coast here, and my buddies and I, we couldn't catch anything. And so we were spearfishing and fishing. So we went and talked to the older lifeguards and said, hey, what are we doing wrong? Like, why can't we catch any fish? And these older lifeguards were like, it's fished out. Should have been here yesterday. The fish are gone. And they had this incredibly sort of fatalistic attitude that was a time, and that abundance is no more. That was pretty disheartening as a kid. You see all the old pictures with the giant fish and the big barbecues, and you're like, oh, we screwed that up. So that inspired me to get into ocean conservation and learn about solutions to those problems of overfishing, and ultimately led to my job at Surfrider, where I actually get to combine my passion for the ocean and surfing with conservation, which I wake up every day feeling lucky about. Fast forward, 30 years later, and there's a marine reserve now off the coast of Laguna Beach, and teeming with marine life, full of fish. My kids grew up with a healthier ocean than I did. So for me, that was kind of like when I realized that I actually have to do something about this issue. I can't just let it happen.
Hey, Baron.
Oh, no, I was a teenager. This is like high school. Chad, you once said that surfers are reflective of the communities in which they live. So do you think that moment with those fish kind of like is emblematic of that as a child? Like, was that when you realized that you do represent that community?
Yeah, I guess it was like this realization that you can't just take and sort of like let the system control you. You have some agency and you can get out there and change the system. So it's when I started thinking about activism. When I said that quote, the other thing I was talking about is surfers still suffer from what I call like this Spicoli bias. Everybody thinks that they're like dumb, stoner, dropouts.
I think your pizza's here, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Mr. Hand, it's our time. And so part of Surfrider's founding 40 years ago is to dispel that myth and say, hey, surfers are lawyers and doctors and scientists and all walks of life. But they have a vested interest in the help of the ocean, so they should all be involved.
Geoff, what about you? When did you have that?
Hey, yeah, I mean, I think unconsciously, probably back then when I was talking about earlier, seeing Robert Frank's photographs of, the America of the 30s, 40s, people who are underrepresented, certainly not going to be reported on. You have to be aware that there are people who don't have it as good as you, and there's probably a lot of people who have it a lot worse.
And they never have it as good.
And they never do. And it's like I'm talking up and down the socioeconomic plane, but also, I think about, things like people, the photographer who was there when RFK was assassinated, or, it's like Martin Luther King. It's like, without those images, certainly today we could say, without stuff like that, did it happen? Who the fuck knows, right? I mean, we're taking the news that's given to us, and I think I'm to this point a failed photojournalist because I love music, photography, obviously, and landscapes and all that fun stuff. Streets, which is kind of closer to photojournalism, but I think it's like exposing the side of the world that's still beautiful, but the people who really have no bright light shining on them. It's easy to shoot people with a bright light on them. It's hard to shoot the people who never get that light, and I think if you don't do that, so I think better stuff to come, at least in my career in terms of doing that, but it's like, it's important to show that stuff. And I think that woke me up. I'm like, who are these people? And then they're us,
Paul, you made this, I don't know if you guys can see it, I'll bring it out in a second, a ballpoint pen of one Edward Jerome Vedder that sold here, the original, for how much money? 2 years ago?
$20,000.
$20,000. And all of that went to EBRT, right? And now there are 500 prints available at Charlie's Adler Smith Gallery in Santa Monica, California, or online. And proceeds of that go to EBRT. I have to assume even before this, you were like, I gotta support the community, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was trying to think of when it hit me or when I came to the realization. I don't know if there was a real defining moment. I just have always felt that, you have to be the change you want to see in the world. So sometimes we feel like we don't have the means. But I think that everybody that has, some sort of talent or skill that other people don't have, you got to figure out how you can apply that to help the world. And, if it means, this drawing took me 380 hours. I worked on it.
That's it?
That's it. 14 months. That's all I did the whole year, more than a year. But yeah, we're doing a lot of good with it. I mean, if we sell out of the prints, which I hope we do, we're going to raise about $500,000 for EBRP. So, and it's not the first piece I've done for charity or for an organization, but it's the biggest, and it's what I want to keep doing. So the first one I'll talk about, I did a drawing of Tony Hawk. Do you guys know Keegan Hall? He's an artist that he does these amazing pencil drawings. And everything he does goes toward a foundation. So I've been following him for years, always inspired by him. But the real inspiration was like he does these crazy detailed drawings And I'd never done anything on that level, but I was like, I could work on one piece for a year and do something on that level. So yeah, that was sort of the inspiration. And I saw one of his drawings, and I've worked with Tony Hawk in his foundation. He has a foundation called the Skate Park Project, where they build and fund skate parks in underserved communities. So I drew a picture of Tony that took about 6 months to draw. It was a Grant Britton photo. I drew it all in ballpoint. And then Grant and Tony and I signed the prints, and we raised about $60,000 for the skate park project. So
how long ago was this?
This was about 4 years ago. So that was like sort of the first piece I did that, where all the proceeds went toward a foundation, and I've done 3 or 4 or 5 since then. And that's basically my, direction forward, is to just keep doing these kind of things.
Paul Kobriger. Should we move into Act 2, Paul?
Act 2.
There's no curtain here. We couldn't afford Rob Sheridan to make it happen behind us either, so.
Speaking of Rob, we just interviewed him on the show. Was it last week?
Last week.
You can hear the genesis behind a lot of those images you saw at those Pearl Jam shows. Just a tremendous artist, and to learn about his process was really impressive thing to behold. Here's a new lyric for you, gently. The rusted shapes refuse to fall. It's going to take much more than ordinary love to lift this up. Hear the sound in the distance now. Could be thunder or a crowd. Retrograde. So when you hear that, how does that speak to your words, to your message?
Pretty awesome.
Jeffrey is ready to go.
I'm so not ready to go, but
Come on, baby.
But
Give us this one more time.
Yeah, happy to check. The rusted shapes refuse to fall.
That's vamping from a pro over there. I didn't hear it. Could you say it again?
The rusted shapes refuse to fall. It's going to take much more than ordinary love to lift this up. Hear the sound in the distance now. Could be thunder or a crowd.
yeah, boy, I mean, what that sort of inspires in me is, is urgency to every day that we're living right now. And I could go political too, but I think if you don't stand up and you don't speak up and you don't get yourself into some form of activism to make yourself heard, then you have nothing to do but accept what comes. Could be thunder, could be a crowd.
We have a saying that says, if you're not up at table, you're on the menu.
Oh my god. How morbid and delicious.
Chad Darwin over here.
Building on Jeff's comment, you know what that means is you got to be engaged and involved, or you're gonna be taken advantage of. And a lot of the problems that we have in the world from an environmental perspective, probably arguably from a social perspective in other ways, are old habits that refuse to die. This is why we're driving gas cars, which makes no sense, and we're not treating every human as an equal on this planet. And so breaking down those systems is what we need to do. However, there's a lot of people that have power in maintaining them. And, hopefully that thunder in the distance is the roar of some and the crowd of people who are going to make the change.
It starts with us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, just echoing what they said. I mean, right, it's the rusted shapes refuse to fall. I mean, that's the current system. It's not going to be easy. Change isn't easy. They're going to fight back, but we have to rise up. There's more of us than them, and we need to rally and get together and be heard and come in like a thunderous crowd,
like a wrecking ball, Miley. One thing we do on our show, and I think Pearl Jam has a lot to do with the inspiration for this, is we've had a monthly fundraiser on our show. Every month we say, hey, we're going to choose this nonprofit. Please send money to it. $5 or more, stickers and pins, and Paul's chucking stickers down across this room. Guitar fix, the whole shebang. Greatest donor gets a thing. Just because there's so many places to send your money to, let's just pick one out each month and highlight it. You guys are in a great position because your skill, your passion has allowed you to create some sort of fan base or customer base that is tuned into what you are doing. How do you mobilize that? How do you lean on your customer base, your fan base, to make that crowd happen so that what you want to affect positively has more beneath it, or alongside, I should say?
I mean, I don't do a lot of that on social media. I pretty much let the art speak for itself. I'm not super active or super vocal about stuff like that, but I'll try to partner at the people I partner with. I did a Jim Lindbergh drawing, and Jim is a singer of Pennywise, very active in, raising awareness for his causes. So he did the lyrics in the background of my drawing, and some of the lyrics are from early Pennywise songs that, he was able to, when we sold those prints, he took his proceeds and donated it to one of his causes. So I just try to partner with people that are gonna do something good.
But that's one way of doing it, right? You became friends with the guy who has a massive audience. How do you work together? Yeah, and it's only a one-by-one a collaboration, but he's got this other swath, so it's in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
Fun fact: Jim Lindbergh spent some time on Surfrider's board of directors. Oh, wow. So, we're one of the charities that he has supported. So, maybe indirectly, you were actually helping support us. So, thank you.
There you go. Shout out, Geoff. Fan base, customer base. How do you mobilize?
I mean, it's sort of what we do as an organization. So we want to make surfing's really fun. Everyone loves the ocean. We got to make sure that ocean conservation is fun and joyful, because it's hard enough as it is. So we're always trying to use surfing, using art, using culture to inspire people to get involved in ocean conservation. That usually starts with, I'll follow you on Instagram or something like that. And then our job is to get them to show up at a beach cleanup, come plant, do some restoration projects with us, and start getting active with those kind of easy to think, an hour on a Saturday morning. And before they do it, they're coming to DC with us and, trying to get Congress to stop offshore drilling. So we kind of, there's breadcrumbs between, oh, that's a cool surf photo, to, I'm testifying in front of Congress.
And you can see that art is not a passive way to mobilize. Chad, for a second, you got a Surfrider t-shirt on right now. When you were a lifeguard in 95, you saw a t-shirt, and that helped inspire you to mobilize, right?
Yeah, that's right. The Surfrider Foundation was founded in 1984, and I was a teenager. And I started seeing this little hang tag with the logo on the surf clothes. So I was buying a Quicksilver t-shirt or whatever, Gotcha or whatever it was, and they had their mission statement on the back of the thing. And so for me, it was like that little sticker was like, what are these guys doing? Oh, they're doing cool stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, I didn't get involved at that point. It was later in my life, but that was sort of the trigger, like, oh, those guys are cool guys making a difference. And so, that quickly, fast forward 5 years, was like, how do I get a job with those guys? And so Surfrider's always been pretty good. Interestingly enough, surfing, music, and art are all really closely linked. And so you're right, it's really culture. And they say culture leads policy. We're learning that from the right, the hard way.
Yes.
But so we got to do a better job of making our culture translate into policy.
I want to do a quick sidebar. 1995, you interned with Surfrider. It was the same year that Pearl Jam donated $50,000 to Surfrider to keep it a thing, right?
Yeah, it's a really good story. Early days at Surfrider, the organization's 10 years old, not particularly sophisticated. I think there's 5 staff, and we were broke. Our COO was literally mailing checks when that was what you used to do. That were bad.
Stated, don't
posting a check. That were bad to buy 4 weeks to get the next mailing out to raise enough money to keep the organization alive. We were that close to just being over. And the former executive director at the time, Pierce Flynn, was talking to the Pearl Jam folks, and they wrote a check for $50,000. I have a picture of them at the San Diego Sports Arena with the big, not the big chap, the little chap.
He published his thing real style.
And it saved us. So we would not be who we are today, but for the generosity of Ed Better and Paul Jam.
And we've all contributed too, because so many tours since that moment, you see on the ticket stub, remember tickets, actual tickets? It would say $3 voice towards Surfrider, right? And then it'll expand into Vitalogy, yada, yada, yada. But I remember those tickets back in the day. Surfer, I'm like, what's Surfer? Oh, he's so planted to see.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Eddie has a surfing history. We produced in the early 90s these two, back when the compilation CDs were a thing.
Yeah.
We produced two compilation CDs called, maybe three, called Music from Another Ocean. And Pearl Jam was kind of meteorically rising at that point, and they were always the first band to like kick in a song, a couple original songs that are on those albums. And as soon as they did it, that kind of opened up the floodgates, and everyone else would sign. So again, they use their power and influences here. We're like, we got a Pearl Jam song, you know. Everybody else was like, I'm in. So we could be
now two of those songs, Jason.
Yes.
Two of those songs, Whale Song and Grammy Out of Control. Raise your hand if you were at Ohana last year. Anyone at Ohana last year?
No.
Yeah.
Jeffrey, you were there last year.
I was there. A front row seat.
You had the front row seat for Kerepesi, and Zach Irons came out for Whale Song.
Unreal.
And Brendan O'Brien played on Grammy. And at this point, how long have you been photographing Pearl Jam? Full-time, about a year or so, but like more than that.
Yeah, I mean, I did the last couple tours, you know, that were small. I mean, coming out of COVID, shot them a couple times before that to 2018, I think. But been shooting Ed, you know, the courtesy of Ed and those around him for probably 10 or 12 years prior to that. So it's been a while, but to get the call to kind of do the job for real was, you know, for me, that's like getting a call from the Red Sox. Sorry, any Yankees fans today.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We had Geoff on about a year ago on the show. We deep dive on his whole life. And
don't bother listening. Don't go back.
It's lovely. He had margarita. He was feeling pretty good. But my point is that now so many Pearl Jam fans, speaking of them having the power to help Surfrider out, now that group of people knows you and knows your work. And so how is there a way that you can leverage that fan base to focus on the things that you want to possibly change?
I mean, you know, I'm to go back to I took a nap in the middle of that. What was that? The question? I don't know. No, to engage the fan base, I never counted on ever having my own fan base, certainly based on what I'm doing.
There's a whole fan club online.
So, it's weird. I know there.
There's a burner account.
See, that's pranking. So scary. Please don't start a podcast. Yeah, I do. No, I don't. No. Oh, thank you. I'll take it. No, it's, yeah, there are things that I deeply care about. As of, you know, through doing this, I'm, you know, in service to what is are the things that the band cares about, the things I care about too. So if anyone's ever reached out to me and said, I really want a print of this photo, that you know how bad I am at engaging with the fan base. I'm like, I don't know what to charge you for it. I don't know when to, can I be, okay. But it's, no,
Geoff, do what Radiohead did. Just you name your own price. I don't
name your own price. Yeah, I think it's you know, it's coming. I think I'm started getting my head around that, and certainly having the ability to make prints and have them in auctions like my print that's in the Vitalogy Foundation auction right now is like what a pleasure that was to make. You know, knowing that it was going to help and raise some money and just do more of that. I mean, I'm not doing it to enrich myself. It's to me the creative process to be able to keep doing it, you know, and like I said earlier, just be able to go shoot things that are meaningful to people too. So hope that answers it. Most of it.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm a bad podcast guest. I'm so sorry.
Give this man some tequila and he opens up like a MacBook. Although YouTube. Okay. Act 3? Cherie?
Act 3. Okay, here's your lyric.
Are these hard, Chad?
The lyrics are tough. I thought we were going to get softball.
No, not in this.
Yeah, I know.
This is Charlie Lotus shit.
And this is the Chad Nelson softball. Here we go.
We lost listeners. Oh God, they've walked away.
So again, giving you the lyric.
Bye.
Tell me how that lyric resonates with you, your work, and your mission. We could become one last setting sun, or be the sun at the break of dawn. Okay, sure.
The good doctor is on the clock.
That's been easier. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Never give up. It's pretty simple. In our work, David Brower, one of the early founders of the Sierra Club, he has a slogan which is constant pressure, endlessly applied. And the battles we're fighting don't happen easily or quickly. And so we just got to keep going. And, I tend to believe that Martin Luther King quote that the arc of history is bending towards justice, but that's not going to happen unless we all lean into it. So how's that?
I like it.
It went over the fence, Chad.
Paul Kobriger.
Yeah, I mean, that's my message too. Never give up. Never listen to what other people tell you.
But you did for a minute because you were like, I can do art, but I'm not gonna do art. But you came back to it.
But I came back to it. Yeah, and since then, I mean, I talked to kids. I was talking to a kid out in line, a little 12-year-old girl. They was showing me her drawings, and I was like, "You're really good. Don't quit." Because this is off of that, but my daughter's in our class. She's in high school, and her teacher, one of the first days, was telling her the same thing I've said about hyperrealism copy, and that's not art. Art comes from, and but he knows my work, and he actually has a print. That's what he told her the first week of class, and then 2 weeks later, he realized that she's my daughter, and he's like, I have a print of your dad's that I
got a Kobriger.
Yeah, so and he uses that print in class to show people, like, it's sort of to contradict what he said. It's like, if you're really good and you're willing to be the best at it, then I guess it's okay or whatever. But I guess I'm gonna go in and have that conversation. So they're working on getting me in there to talk to the kids.
Oh, you haven't yet had the conversation?
No, not yet. But that's what it'll be. It's just like, your art teachers and other people that you respect and look up to are gonna tell you something that maybe you don't agree with inside. You don't have to listen. You can find your own path. And my story of stepping away because I was didn't think I was good enough or didn't think I was the real thing, and then coming back to it, it's like, man, I went 20 years without doing this, and all the doors that it's opened up for me in the last 10 years. It's just like, man, what could I have done? What could I have accomplished if I had stuck with it and been doing art the whole time? So yeah, don't give up. It's never too late. If you do something, or if you love something, do it, and don't worry about what other people say.
And there's some things that you're inherently tied to that you absolutely never give up. Geoff, I want to talk about your son and the board that you're on.
Answer the question to first. Really good one. No, I will say
I was segueing into it, but yes, please go. Sorry.
I'll leave you with this. The distance to the end is closer now than it's ever been.
That's negative.
And I will tell you that if you don't think that we're in the fight for our lives right now, you are not paying close enough attention, whether it's the planet or this maniac or whatever it is. If you're in the fight of your and your kids' lives, we are. So make a difference. Okay, Jason, sorry.
Go. No, you're right. But it is, I don't want to bring anybody down. You have two fabulous kids, but one of them, you started noticing had seizures around 7 months.
Yeah, he's 15 today. Gryphon. And he's afflicted with what's called SCN2A. That's the gene that this little protein uptake lives on. SCN2A related disorders, which is the cause probably of a lot of unexplained epilepsies, probably higher than maybe 40-50%.
His connection to the autism spectrum was long.
Oh yeah, and he's autism off the charts. He's quadriplegic. He's tube fed. He's nonverbal, and up to 7 months he was developing. I would say slowly, but a lot of boys do. But it was smiling and laughing and doing all the things. And then when I saw the first seizure that I noticed, we were on a trip, And within a week, he was having 200 to 300 a day. And what the medical world does is they just throw a lot of drugs at you. So he was on some 30 different drugs and nothing stopped the seizures. The only thing that made a difference, I'm a big advocate for it, would be CBD oil in the original form. And that we were lucky enough to get in touch with the Stanley Brothers guys who have a company called Charlotte's Web. Out in Colorado. And we were so paranoid about, like, is this even, we don't know if it's legal, is it not legal? California, I had to get his medical marijuana card. So my 18-month-old is sitting on my lap in the photo, and I still have the card. But it's the only thing that made a difference. And it's, he's 15, so he's been on that stuff and some very low-grade kind of anti-seizure stuff for a long time. But, I have people tell me all the time, well, he was born to the right parents. And it's your child, and it took us 7 years to figure out that we had nothing genetically to do with it, that it's a de novo mutation. And I know more about this, and it was great to get to spend time with Michael Hunn on EB. And he came on and did our board conversation, kind of showing our board how we can be better. And man, I'll tell you, it's like every day is a struggle. I mean, he's not here. He is home with caregiver and nurses and stuff today because he just, crowds and loud music do not appeal to him the same way they appeal to me. You'd hear him screaming right now over somewhere. But he's my boy, Gryphon, and he's my son, and I love him with all my heart. And it's you take what you get and then you try to do better with it. And so, yeah. That's what we do.
But you took it a step further to be on the board. Like, you're so active about it, which is, I think, just that extra level.
Well, I think, again, we're not talking about something that's curable. I mean, the one thing that is so promising with EB is that it's believed to be curable in the next 10 years. That's their plan. What Gryphon has is not curable, but it's treatable in the way that you make him more comfortable. And Gryphon's on a huge spectrum of kids that even have his variant. So it's like it is a broad spectrum. Some kids go to school and they can talk and walk and eat. And then there's Gryphon. And it was only a couple like him. So
Geoff, what makes Gryphon happiest? When do you see the light in his eyes really bright?
Yeah. What's very good question. The first thing that I noticed, and it still works, and this is apropos to our audience and where we're at, is the record ukulele songs.
Oh my goodness, that's what
fucking loves it, and I love it. And it's like we got to tell Ed this many years ago, and he was visibly affected by it, and he said that's so great to hear that. Like, you don't know why you're making things sometimes, and he loves that. He loves getting in the hot tub until he doesn't. Mostly hates the sound of all of our voices, which is great. But
so that's all of our kids, though, really.
Yeah. He would love the sound of yours. I'll just put it on a loop.
No.
But that's when he's happiest, is when it's chill music or like Italian cafe jazz. He's got good taste. I don't know what to tell you. But but that.
But I want to ask you just a follow-up, Geoff. You talked about the idea that when you look at an image, it's like, did it happen if I didn't see it happen? Your son is Generation AI. This is a generation of children that are growing up in a digital age that is very, very foreign to a lot of us. So in an era like AI, where sometimes you see the image and you think, did it happen? Like, what does that look like in terms of living in a media age where there's so much information and misinformation, and how that can sometimes bolster or even corrupt the message and the work that you're trying to achieve? How do you combat that, the current administration notwithstanding?
I mean, I think I'll answer quickly. For me is you have to put yourself out in the place where things are happening and be authentic and be real. And that just goes across everything that you're doing. It's so important to not look. I did an AI, for me, a deep dive. I was like, I don't even know if I want to open this on my phone. But I'm like, create an image of me as a Civil War general. And it was awesome. It was like 2 seconds, and I want a picture of that somewhere. But it's also not fucking real. And that's a problem. There's a problem for me with things that aren't real. It's all horse shit. Just because somebody has a microphone and they tell you something doesn't mean it's real.
2 seconds versus 300 plus hours.
I was gonna say, well, I can't AI any like you just did over 18 months.
If he's better than AI.
That's right. We're gonna lock eyes with you for the next 5 minutes.
So creepy, isn't he?
Staring contest, me and you go.
You just lost his name.
You always win. There was a question somewhere in there. Oh yeah. So there are obviously so many causes. I mentioned our nonprofits that we do every single month, and we are in the age of, I guess, our leader is passing the buck back to us. Unlike the Swedens of the world that say, no, we'll take care of you. So now we have all these things to take care of ourselves. We want to champion, if it's food, if it's the climate, if it's what. I mean, there's so many things, right? And I feel like there's almost some paralysis or being overwhelmed by the number of things we want to positively change. Number one, do you guys agree with that? I would assume that you do. I don't know. And number two, what advice then do you have to people when they're like, I want to do Donors Choose, I want to do UNICEF, I want to do ACLU, I want to do families? What do you say? How do we approach the menagerie of faucets?
As a charity, I could start with that one.
Please do, somewhat.
It's another softball, Doc.
No, I mean, you look over here, right across over here. This is pretty cool. This is a bunch of local and national nonprofits, coastal parks, voting, some surfing, an environmental and humanitarian group, a Native American surfing group, Marine Mammal.
I see you back there with the Pelican.
Go visit all those groups. They're all amazing, by the way. There are a ton of groups out there. There's even more people and people that are willing to be good. And so I think if everybody picked their 2 or 3 favorite charities, and there's places you can verify if they're good ones. Usually you find it through friends or experience. There's enough of us to support all those charities and beyond. What the real enemy is apathy.
Right.
And so I think having a huge variety of charities all doing amazing things that are adjacent or slightly different is great. And there's so many good causes out there to be supporting. There's more than enough people out there. So I'm like, the more the merrier. We actually need more people to be engaged and charitable. The number of charities will sort itself out.
So if I say I want to support all these things, but I guess the question is, how do I get
and navigate it?
Yeah, because there's just so many. I want to throw $100 to everything, but I just can't do that. Is there a way to focus it? Or
I mean, if I were you, I would sort of list your values.
With poems, so I can
think about the things that you care about, and then try to triangulate around that to causes. It could be health, it could be environment, it could be art, and I think you can, same way you pick a hobby or choose the kind of art or music you like. I think you should take that same approach to philanthropy and charity and be like, hey, I care about youth education, I care about food security, I care about the ocean, I care about climate change. Figure out what your values are and then start looking. You'll find the groups out there. Talk to your friends, see who they support. I think you'll find your way. That'd be my advice.
Yeah, I think it's like, eating an elephant. You could easily get overwhelmed by the choices, but I think just like you said, the thing will speak to you. Whatever it is will speak to you, and then try to focus on that, and just go with the thing that you deeply care about, that you can make a difference in. And if you spread it around too much, you might feel great, but you might not make much of an impact. And so I think that and vote, Christ's sakes, just vote. It's the easiest thing. And the apathy comment is so real. It's just like you cannot afford to be apathetic anymore. Those days are over.
The largest voting bloc in the last November election did not vote. So the largest party in America right now is not paying attention. And so you can't complain about the results that we're getting if we're not being participatory. So I want men to vote.
To your point too, if you think about the slow burn that is what we see right now, it all started locally, right? Local judges, local this, local that. and they fed it from the local toy, and now it's at the national level. It's like, well, how the hell did we get here? Because we enabled that to happen.
Now,
right?
There has to be a way to transmit that urgency, though. I'm in the San Diego area. I don't surf, so how do you transmit that urgency within the surfing community that cares about rising sea levels to somebody outside of that community?
Well, sadly, the truth is we're mostly a reactive society. We retrofit the bridges after the earthquake and the roads fall down. We fix the levees in New Orleans after Katrina floods. So we tend to be reactive. If someone proposes some giant condo project in your neighborhood, you come out with the pitchforks. When they do the 2050 visioning plan for your town, like nobody but the nerds show up. So part of it is we got to react to threats. That's usually how we get people in. A storm destroyed the coast. An oil spill in Huntington a couple years ago. So in some ways, looking at those threats to leverage people is a tool. Usually people come to us because they see a problem that they want to fix. Our goal is then to get them engaged in it day in and day out, because that's actually what we need to solve these problems.
Well, I don't have anything else to the thoughts on there. I think before we wrap it up, I do want to do one thing, and that is, it is Gryphon's birthday, so I have cupcakes for everybody.
Awesome. Hey, do you think we could sing Gryphon happy birthday?
Oh, man.
You can...
Wait for the cupcakes.
Well, yes. Thank you. But you can film it, and you can control the volume. How about that?
Oh, gee, yeah, perfect. Yeah, exactly. I'll tell her. Yeah.
Ralph's finest.
Oh, they're the best.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Thank you, guys. That's very doper.
Good man.
Anybody that wants one, go ahead and grab one here.
Okay. Are we ready?
On the count of 3, happy birthday, Gryphon, yeah? 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Gryphon. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you guys. Appreciate that. Happy in between the set there, so you got to hear.
Perfect time.
Paul Kobriger, 6s and 7s skate shop. He's got amazing art. Geoff Whitman, you'll see him ducking behind the amps. And Chad Nelsen is keeping all this beautiful. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Emily, Mike, Colin, Ed, Smitty, the whole gang in Ohana. Thank you, everybody. And State of Love and Trust. We're going to come out and have some guitar picks, if that's okay with you, some stickers. Will that be okay? Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, gentlemen. Thank you, guys.
Once again, big thank you to Chad Nelsen, Geoff Whitman, and Paul Kobriger. And I have to say, I said it in there kind of haphazardly, but once again, a huge thank you to the folks at Ohana Festival and the Storyteller Stage specifically. So you've got Mike Long, you got Colin Boyd, Emily Benson over at Vitality Foundation. And then, of course, the big dogs, Smitty and Ed, for having us on. Without them, this doesn't happen. So, well, actually, more importantly, without you guys, this doesn't happen, because your listenership or viewership has brought us to a place that, the big dogs say, you know what? We dig what you're putting out there, and it allowed us to be on the stage, and hopefully we can do more stuff like that. It was an honor to be amongst everybody else on the Storyteller Stage across the weekend, and I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it, because I did. Like I said, filled the soul cup back up a little bit to the top. So, anyways, we've got more coming up over the next handful of weeks. More interviews, more fun Pearl Jam specific episodes. I think we got Lightning Bolt coming up pretty soon, the anniversary of that. Down the road, you've got Vitalogy and Riot Act and a lot of cool interviews. I'm not going to release names just yet, but some cool musicians coming down the pike. and artists as well. So stay tuned for that. Paul sends his love, and we'll see you next week. Until we do, you've been listening to or watching The State of Love and Trust.